mental health problems in estate and letting agency. Today I'm joined by Ian Harris, who is an estate agent from Norfolk and also Propertymark member for East Anglia. Ian, you've been in the estate agency 40 years. Before we switched the cameras on, you said, when I asked you what's the most worrying thing you've seen change for the worst in our industry, and you said mental health. What did you mean by that? Talk to me.
I think the mental health issues that I've noticed are to do with stress, stress that is anxiety that people perhaps can't control. And I think some of the things that are going on in the industry at the moment are provoking that, and our people that we are working with us need looking after and keeping a careful eye on in that regard.
I mean, you know, it is a stressful job and we get blamed for everything. Do you think the caliber of person coming into a estate agency today is the same as it was, say, 20 years ago? And the reason I say that is this, is that Ian Preston looked at what the average wage of a negotiator was 10 years ago and what it is today. And there was around a 50% difference between the minimum wage and what an average neg was paid. Now that gap is not 50%, is about 5%.
Yeah.
You know, you can either go stack shelves at Tesco's or for an extra 5% get shouted at and blamed at.
Yeah. I think that's sad and undervalues what people in our industry do, the level of knowledge that we now need to have, and the responsibility that we have for people's most valued asset.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, my heart goes out to property managers because you're going to get shouted at. You know, tenants not getting the property, tenants with problems, landlords not fixing stuff.
Yeah.
And then the negs, you know, heart goes out.
Yeah, I think that some of these issues are actually quite acute, and I think probably the most acute is tenant demands.
I mean, these problems have always been here, haven't they?
I think they have, but I think the focus now is so much, and the two that I pick out are indeed on the letting side of things, where you've got 30 people absolutely desperate for a home that you could only let one of them have. And I think as estate agents, we try and be empathetic, but whilst we're being empathetic, not taking on other people's stress is a real skill and it has to be understood very carefully. And very often people need support with that. And then the other one is sale progression, where the conveyancing industry can't deliver the timescales that buyers and sellers want. And there can be financial stress involved with that, just having a roof over your head, another.
Do you think things have changed? We talked earlier on about the fact is that wages, you know, if you've got a stressful job, you expect higher wage, but salaries have not kept up. You know, if you don't mind me saying, 20, 30 years ago, the way you dealt with this was probably at the end of a bottle for a lot of people. You see it all the time.
Yeah, that's very true. I think younger people are less inclined to go down that route, but they maybe will switch off from the real world in other ways, in terms of gaming or, you know, those sorts of things. And
do you think it has got more stressful, or are we just more aware of it and we're just talking about it?
No, I think it has got more stressful.
Okay.
I think the number of shouty clients that you deal with,
and the people them a bit more vocal, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and their demands are absolutely uncompromising, and I think some of those demands that you can't deliver.
Okay, so being at the end of a bottle is not the solution, never has been. What do we as bosses need to do? Do we need to be more empathetic to our team? Do we need to have better training on how to deal with this stuff?
I think better training will be really helpful, but being really supportive as well. And I think, you know, if somebody's shouted at one of your team, you know, and whether that's you're a member of staff and they've shouted at the boss, or whether you're the boss and they've
well, it's more vendors and tenants shouting at you, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you know, a metaphoric arm around and saying like that's not acceptable, and that's not your fault, and just reassuring people that they've done a good professional job. You can't please all the people all of the time, I think, is a real good start. And I think being mindful and alert to the fact that it can get worse in terms of people's response to that sort of situation, and making sure that you've got professional help available where it's needed is really, really important as well.
Ian, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.